The following program is a presentation of Jez Sports.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the Main Event Podcast. With today, a very special podcast. We have the 2022 Year-End Awards. My name is Dan, the champion. And as always, I'm here with Jez. How you doing?
I'm doing all right. Yeah. Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, all of that kind of stuff that we've not said because we've had a gap over the festive period. But we are in 2023 now, that time of year when we look back at the previous year and all that kind of good stuff before we get stuck into this year's wrestling. So I'm very excited. It's been a big year for wrestling, actually. A really big year for wrestling.
It has.
Looking back at some of the things that have happened, I was like, oh, was that in 2022? I felt like that was years ago, or that happened so long ago. But no, it was all crammed in there, and well needed, I think, after the two pandemic years and all the Thunderdome stuff.
Yes.
Not that there weren't some bright spots in them, but it was a decline period overall. That's what happens when you can't involve people, I guess. But very excited. The way that this works is we have designated categories for each award, and we tossed a coin to decide who would get to choose a winner first, but we have both chosen a winner. There are 2 winners in every single category, and there's quite a lot of them, so we should probably crack on with it.
Yes.
First up is the Future Endeavour Award. This award is for a superstar that was fired or released from their contract during the course of the year, and either went elsewhere to make a debut somewhere else and did well, or made a triumphant return and was able to return. I won this one, coin toss wise, so I will go first. Slightly unorthodox one for me, because I don't feel like they have gone above and beyond after coming back. But I do feel that I was very excited by it. Lots of people were very excited by it. And when there was a regime change in WWE, there was one name at the top of everybody's list, really, that had to come back immediately. Well, there was more than one, but this was up there. This was top 3. Yeah. My Future Endeavour Award goes to Karrion Kross and Scarlett. I
could see that, yeah.
I was massively disappointed when Kross was released. He hadn't been used very well on the main roster, and he'd been basically turned into a glorified gimp, and he didn't have Scarlett and all that stuff. Yeah. And so the only way really was up. So literally all he had to do was be re-employed, and that would be immensely better. And he was re-employed with Scarlett. And I feel like that re-debut was wonderful. It's kind of stagnated a little bit outside of the feud with Drew McIntyre. Nothing really has gone down, but it's early days, and I think 2023 is going to be a big year for Kross and Scarlett. So that's who my award goes to.
Nice. But I can see why that's a good one. But I went for someone different. I went for Samoa Joe.
I can see that one too.
Yeah, because he's a fantastic competitor. We know he was injured while he was with WWE and they wouldn't clear him. But he was great on commentary. We both said many a time that we loved him on commentary. but since being in AEW, I think he's kind of dominated quite a bit of it as well. So I think good on him.
Yeah, I mean, you could give him this award for two different times, really. There was that time that he was released from WWE the first time, and then he was re-signed to NXT and immediately won the championship and all that jazz. And then being released a second time for not being cleared, as you said, and then debuting with AEW, where he has become a double champion at one point. And definitely worthy of the Future Endeavour Awards. I can totally see that. Yeah. Was he? Did he do? It wasn't 2022 that he did commentary, was it? That was the first time round? I think
that was the first time round. Yeah, because he was
in the Thunderdome.
That was during the pandemic.
Yeah. Fair enough. No, I just wanted to clear that in my head. I thought I was really going nuts and not remembering when things were happening. But yeah. So there we go then. The Future Endeavour Awards for 2022 go to Karrion Kross and Scarlett and Samoa Joe.
Yes.
Right, let's get into the meat of these awards. Some of the awards that people really care about, and we're going to kick off with this one. Match of the Year. This is across any company. There is the caveat that, we need to have discussed it on this podcast. We're not going to pick a random New Japan match because we, up until our next episode, have not covered New Japan Pro Wrestling. We'll be covering Wrestle Kingdom next week. Okay. Once again, I won the toss, so therefore I got to pick first. And I know that you agree with this one. My match of the year is Gunther versus Sheamus for... was it for the Intercontinental title?
It was for the Intercontinental title.
The Intercontinental Championship at WWE Clash at the Castle in Cardiff, Wales.
Yeah.
The Millennium Stadium, whatever it's called now, Principality Stadium.
That one.
Millennium Stadium. It's always going to be the Millennium Stadium. Yeah, we were looking forward to this match right up until it happened. We were thinking this is going to be hard hitting. Yeah. Sheamus is going to walk out of there with various different shades of red all over him. All of this came to pass. I feel like it completely lived up to the hype. And when you hype up a match to that level, if it then satisfies that, that's got to be in the candidacy for match of the year. And I'm giving it. That is my match of the year.
Yeah. Well, that was one of my picks, definitely. But I had another one as well, which was Cody Rhodes versus Seth Rollins at Hell in a Cell, where Rhodes had his torn, was it pectoral muscle?
It was,
That one? Yeah, and he was all bruised down there, but he still carried on.
Yeah,
but they still put on a hell of a show.
Yeah, I can't disagree with you. This was definitely one of the matches of the year. It wasn't the the technical affair that you would normally expect of Cody Rhodes, and obviously for obvious reasons. But the effort that he went through to make sure that this match not only happened but was fantastic just really showed the heart of Cody, and I think that passion for wrestling will probably come out again during these awards. Looking forward to seeing Cody back. WWE can't seem to keep a surprise and are basically announcing him for the Royal Rumble at this stage. He's been all over television in the last couple of weeks. Looking forward to that.
Yes.
And long may his reign of being amazing continue on his way to the WWE Championship. So from a very high point, or two high points in the year, to the lovingly, not so lovingly named Nia Jax Award.
Yeah.
Now, the Nia Jax Award is basically for dumb, stupid stuff that happened. And there can be only one, well, two in this case. Two of the stupidest moments, the stupidest things that ruined wrestling to ever happen in 2022. My Nia Jax Award goes to Jon Moxley for bleeding in almost every match that he had in 2022.
Okay, that's fair enough.
Yeah. I mean, it's come up before on this podcast. I think it's dumb. I don't feel like Jon Moxley needs to bleed anywhere near the level that he does to put on an entertaining match. He's a good, technical wrestler, a good brawler. Just do the things that you're good at and stop painting the mat all the time, honestly. It's not necessary. So, yeah, it ruins a lot of his matches for me. He would have probably been my wrestler of the year if he didn't bleed everywhere, but he did, so he's not.
I can go with that as well. I understand where you're coming from on that one, but I have someone different again. Mine was when Braun Strowman returned, his big return, and he did his freight train thing around the ring, and he fell face first onto the mat. It was quite funny.
I mean, he's a big guy. His feet are a long way away from his head, so it's hardly surprising that he falls over every now and again. It happens to the best of us tall people. But not quite what you're looking for in your triumphant return after several months away and being touted as one of the biggest mistakes in terms of releases in the ever from WWE.
Ever.
Yeah, no, that's a fair enough one, and that is definitely a Nia Jax worthy screw up.
Oh yes,
falling on your face, a botch, if you will.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, in a similar vein, we'll move on to the next category. It's the match that happened award.
Yeah.
Matches that are disappointing and just were kind of non-events. Things that should have been cool, could have been cool maybe, but were just meh. And for the first time in this show, you won the coin toss and you get to go first.
Yeah. So, the way Nikki Cross won the 24/7 championship and then just put it in the bin.
Yeah. At least it ended the 24/7 championship.
I get that, they've ended the 24/7 championship and all that, but couldn't they have just faded it?
Yeah.
Away.
Yeah, they probably... who was the champ? Was it Dana Brooke that she took it from?
I think so, but I don't really care.
Yeah. Haven't seen her again since.
Many people care.
No. We haven't seen Dana Brooke since all of that happened. And I think is the way that I would describe that. Yeah.
I wonder if she's going to be future endeavoured.
She tries really hard, Dan. That's always
she does try.
That's what comes up every time people point out how bad she is. It's like she tries really hard. She's working really hard to improve. But it's been 3 years of that.
It's 3 years,
and she hasn't. So maybe
3 years.
She should do something else. She's a lovely person. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
I think she's a wonderful human being, but this is not her calling. Maybe go try something else.
Yeah.
So I can see that. And I hereby ratify that. However, my choice, and it's been said before that this was a match that happened, or a bad match. Chris Jericho versus Eddie Kingston, barbed wire everywhere during AEW Fyter Fest. Just a ridiculous, unnecessary event.
Yeah.
I can't even remember anything about it, and I should be able to remember things about it from a barbed wire match.
Well, that's kind of why I didn't put it, because I forgot about it.
That is the problem with this category, is that you don't tend to remember
the
matches that happened. So there was no real most match that happened.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's mine. I don't really like Eddie Kingston. That's well documented.
No.
And I don't feel like this was necessary.
Mm.
There you go.
Yeah.
Those were not standout events.
No.
Our next category is for the most standout event of the year, the Massive Moment Award.
Mm.
I'm going first.
Mm.
I think this event, you could argue, was the massive moment of the century, because it sent shockwaves throughout all of professional wrestling, and things have changed forever. It was the retirement of Vincent Kennedy McMahon.
Yes. Yes.
We've had, how much have we had now? 4 months? 5 months?
About that, yeah.
Since it happened, and since Triple H took over proper, just before SummerSlam. And WWE is certainly better as a result. That's
a much better way.
That's undoubted. It hasn't had quite the same shockwaves on the rest of the industry as I was expecting.
No. They did talk about it a bit on AEW.
Yes. Yeah.
They had like the Acclaimed put him in a rap about it, so
yeah. I suppose the only impact it's had outside of WWE is that WWE wrestlers have been allowed to wrestle elsewhere a little bit. You know, we're going to discuss it next week with Wrestle Kingdom, but you know, Shinsuke Nakamura wrestled in Pro Wrestling Noah beginning of this week. And Carl Anderson, is still the IWGP United States champion, and will defend that.
Don't you mean the Never champion?
No, do I?
Yeah, because Will Ospreay's the United States champion.
Oh yeah, he's never openweight champion?
Yeah.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
Get your facts right, Jeremy.
Well done you, Mr. I don't watch New Japan Pro Wrestling. Schooled me on that one. Yeah. But that's cool. I like the involvement. Were it not the fact that he's now injured, I would have quite liked to see them let AJ Styles go and do something in Impact Wrestling for like Slammiversary or something.
Yeah.
Or if he hadn't just had neck fusion surgery, let Bobby Roode go and have a go at doing something there. Yeah. So that is my massive moment of the year. What is yours?
Mine, well, it's a big one. It was, and we pretty much knew it was happening, but it was still a massive moment, was when Cody Rhodes returned at WrestleMania.
Yeah.
What a moment.
The biggest moment to happen on our television screens, for sure. We did know, kind of. We weren't 100%, but we were pretty sure that Cody Rhodes was coming to WWE and that he would be the mystery opponent for Seth Rollins. Yeah. There was still some doubt and that it might have been Bray Wyatt, but yes, when that drum beat hit and the opening line to his entrance music hit, the insanity that ensued from the crowd was
mental.
Was fantastic. Yes, yeah. So that's
erupted.
So that's the second time that we've mentioned Cody in an award on this show, and I don't think it'll be the last. To be quite frank, yeah. Two massive moments. Now, let's keep it rolling. Next award is the Babyface of the Year. People that we love, the crowd love. Who has been the best babyface of the year? I turn to you. You won the coin toss.
Yeah.
Who's your pick?
So, I think there's been quite a lot of good baby faces this year.
Yep.
But I think one that surprised me the most is Sheamus. I'm going with Sheamus because, you know, he is a baby face now.
Absolutely, yeah.
And I think he's smashing it with the Brawling Brutes as baby faces.
Yeah, I really wasn't expecting it. And when they didn't even really do anything to change their allegiance other than put them against a heel team.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, that's not going to work. We've tried Sheamus as a babyface before, and people care for a week, and then that's it. But no, I think I'm with you. I think it's a fresh part of Sheamus's career now that he is a babyface, and it's done wonders for him.
Yeah.
He's got married this year as well. That's always going to
congratulations to him.
Going to soften someone up and make them more likable. So, yeah. My pick, picking up his third award in this so far, is Cody Rhodes.
What a surprise!
Because of the reception that he was getting in AEW, especially towards the end of his time in AEW. No matter what he did, he could not get over with the crowd whatsoever.
No.
They were never going to cheer for him, no matter what he did. And he did pretty much everything you could. There was that whole throwing himself through a flaming table thing that he did with Andrade. Was that in 2022, or was that just at the end of 21? It was very close.
That was at the end of 21, I want to say.
Yeah, probably December, but yeah. So he was literally setting himself on fire and leaving scars on himself to try and get over with the crowd, and they were just saying,
it wasn't working.
So, nah, mate, you're the man, aren't you? So no, not interested. But he hasn't been in WWE since June, July.
Yeah.
And every time he's mentioned or he comes up on the screen, massive pop. We're sat there at Clash at the Castle, and the video package that had Cody Rhodes in it got one of the biggest pops of the night.
Yeah.
He is very over. He is very babyface. People are ready to cheer their butts off when he comes back. And that is why Cody Rhodes is my babyface of the year.
Yeah. Too right.
From people we love to the people we love to hate. Next up is heel of the year.
Yeah.
I won the toss here.
Yeah.
Fairly obvious who this is going to be.
Yeah.
My heel of the year is obviously MJF, Maxwell Jacob Friedman.
Absolutely.
Do I really need to explain why?
No, you don't.
I think it kind of speaks for itself. He's MJF.
He's MJF.
That's all it comes down to. But, there can not only be one, there has to be two. So who is your heel of the year?
So my heel of the year, I did have MJF written down because it would be stupid not to. But, there's only one other person that I believe could be heel of the year. And I'm wearing a shirt, especially for it. And I've got to throw it up. It's got to be Roman Reigns.
Yes, indeed. Our tribal chief, the head of the table, the needle mover.
Yeah.
The island of relevancy. What else is he nowadays? He's got loads.
Head of the table, tribal chief, island of relevance, needle mover.
God mode. Undisputed Universal WWE Champion, and probably shouldn't go unmentioned.
Yeah, that one.
He holds all the gold. Yeah, and it has gone from strength to strength.
Yes, and considering how many years ago was it that you had started stuff to boycott Roman Reigns?
That will be coming up to 6 years ago, as of April this year. Yeah.
And now you are in love.
I am a total shill for Roman Reigns, yes.
Yeah.
As are many people.
Oh, yes. Because this is the best thing that could have ever happened to Roman Reigns.
Yeah. Yeah. And you would have thought it had got stale by now, in the same way that he did as a babyface. But no. I don't care that he's only there 3 days a year and that he is just never going to be beaten for the championship and all of that kind of stuff that I would normally hate, because it works. It's actually a story that makes sense. Yeah. And he's bossing it. So I'm with you there. Yeah. Definitely a heel of the year candidate. Him and MJF, the kings of each company, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah.
Yeah. Can't wait to see Cody mix it up with Roman and
be awesome.
See what MJF is going to do in 2023. There's a lot of scope for some good babyface feuds.
Yeah.
With MJF. Next, Tag Team of the Year. Once again, well, not quite as obvious, but maybe obvious if you know us and this show. My Tag Team of the Year is obviously the Usos. Obviously. And that's not to say that they have had the best matches of the year necessarily.
No.
But you can't argue with being the undisputed WWE Tag Team Champions for the entire year, pretty much.
Yeah. But there has been a lot of rumours that they're going to introduce just one tag team belts. Or two, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
One set of tag team belts.
I go back and forth on this. I don't know whether that would be a good thing or not.
No.
I'd kind of think they just need to make a decision and go with it.
Yeah.
Because this will they, won't they is not particularly helpful. And they can't keep carrying around 4 belts between them. That's ridiculous. No. So, yeah. Either split them, which I think they might have to do. I think they probably need more than one set of tag titles. I don't...
Yeah.
As I said, I go back and forth. I don't know. It could go either way, but I mean, you probably want them to merge them so that you get a nice new belt to buy. For no other
well, I haven't actually got either of the tag team belts.
Well, no, it's because they're rubbish. But you just know that a new one would be good, probably. I call it as I see it.
Yeah, well, the rumours are that they're just going to do the design that they've got at the moment just on a black strap.
But it was slightly different. The leaked pictures or whatever it was that we saw a few months ago, they were slightly different.
Oh, what with the big WWE logo?
I can't even remember. It was so long ago, but it looked okay to me. It looked a lot better than the copper penny design that they've got going on at the moment on horrible coloured. Like, I like red, and the red that they're using for the Raw one is awful. And somehow they've made that blue for the SmackDown one terrible as well. It's like, don't even know what you're doing.
Just everything's going wrong.
Yeah. Like, maybe use the NXT UK tag title design, because that's a design that works, and they're not using it anymore.
Yeah.
Or
there you
go back to the what were they? The World Tag Team titles that were on Raw circa 2002 through 2008, I want to say, before they introduced the pennies. That design is my favourite tag team title design. Looks a bit
think that's
like
a lot of people's favourite.
Yeah, it looks a bit like the original Undisputed Championship.
Yeah.
More wide as a design. Yeah, I like that one. Let's use that one. WWE out there listening to our show, obviously.
Yeah, of course.
So the obvious choice is out of the way. I've picked the Usos. Who is your tag team of the year?
So I really had to think about this, and the only one that was springing to mind was the Acclaimed. AEW's Acclaimed.
Yeah, I'm totally with you there. They've had a hell of a year. They've gone from basically nothing to one of the best tag teams in the world. They've got a gimmick that is over. They're some of the top baby faces in any company, and they've breathed new life into Billy Gunn, or Daddy Arse, as he's now called. Yeah, totally with you. Did you consider? And this is an open question because we have to do some honourable mentions as well. Did you consider FTR in this conversation?
I did think about them, but I just thought, I'm done with FTR.
Ooh, okay. I was expecting you to say you had considered them, but I wasn't expecting you to say you were done with them. What do you mean by that?
I've just had enough of them. They're too overrated, in my opinion.
I think they're worthy of the acclaim that they get in terms of in-ring work. They're a fantastic tag team, old school with the chemistry and the psychology of an old school tag team to match. And for the same reason that I put the Usos in this conversation, they've held the gold for pretty much the entire year. Like, FTR were holding 3 championship belts at one point.
Yeah.
However, they've been screwed over by their booking. Like, they were not used properly in AEW all year, despite being the Ring of Honor tag team champions. If they were going to do this, have all the belts thing, then they needed at least a small stint with the AEW World Tag Team titles. They weren't going to Japan and to Mexico to defend those other belts very often. They very, very rarely defended the Ring of Honor tag team titles. When they did, the matches were cracking, but mostly they were just not on TV or in backstage segments holding a lot of gold, not doing very much.
Yeah.
And that's not their fault, per se, but it does bring them down the pecking order when we're talking about the best tag teams of the year, unfortunately. I hope they can bounce back in 2023. There is talk that their contract is set to expire within the next couple of months and that they could end up coming back to WWE. Wouldn't that be crazy after, kind of vowing that they'd never be back? But there you go. Especially if they might be allowed to work in WWE and still go to New Japan.
That would be cool.
That seems to be an option nowadays that you can do that as part of your contract on the way in. So why not? Why not? Have your cake and eat it too.
Yeah.
But I agree with the acclaimed choice.
Yeah. Cool.
Right. Our last kind of sharing our disappointment segment of the show coming up. The next category is the For Some Reason award. It was just a kind of, that happened.
Yeah.
Not quite sure why, but it definitely happened kind of deal. You won the coin toss. What is your For Some Reason award recipient?
So mine is to Austin Theory for the way he was booked to actually cash in his Money in the Bank contract on Seth Rollins.
Yeah.
It just kind of just didn't make sense, and it was just kind of like, you just kind of wanted to get the Money in the Bank contract off Austin Theory.
Yes.
And you did it in a bit of a dumb way.
I agree with you, although I am willing to excuse it for the reason that Austin Theory won the championship under a different regime. The Triple H regime was left with Austin Theory as Mr. Money in the Bank, and there wasn't a whole lot they could do with it because you were obviously going to keep Roman Reigns rolling. You were never, ever going to consider having Austin Theory beat Roman Reigns for the title.
Yeah.
So they did have to think outside the box a little bit. Was cashing in for the US title a good idea? Not really, but it did somewhat elevate the US title as, a top championship, which is what they were trying to do. Yeah, he probably should have just lost it.
Yeah.
He probably should have just lost the briefcase to like Sami Zayn, and then Sami Zayn would have gone, "Here you go, my tribal chief," and just handed it over to him, and that was that. Yeah. Just decommissioned it for the year.
Yeah. Don't get me wrong, I've loved how they had him come down and try to cash in on like Roman Reigns, especially Roman Reigns versus Brock Lesnar, and he comes down, and before the referee has said that he's cashing in, Brock Lesnar has just destroyed him.
Yeah. Likewise, Clash of the Castle with Tyson Fury, and I don't even like Tyson Fury, so
that's a good way of doing it. But a little bit of info for you: Seth Rollins is the only person in history to have the Money Bank contract cashed in on him on 3 different championships.
Oh.
Yeah. The World Heavyweight, the Universal, and the United States.
Well, there you go.
So,
very interesting.
A little bit of pointless information for you.
Yeah. I don't know what they're going to do with Money in the Bank. It seems pointless having it next year.
Yeah.
Or this year. Now that we're in 2023. It's going to get confusing. Yeah, who knows? But I'm with you. For some reason, that is what happened.
Yeah.
Mine wasn't even a booking decision. It's what the hell were you genuinely thinking in real life, all of the people involved? And it's the whole CM Punk Elite backstage rivalry, then CM Punk at the press conference, and then the backstage brawl, and all of that. Just all of them. What are you doing?
What are you doing, lads?
Honestly. Like, there was such a good thing going. Such a good thing going. And okay, CM Punk was injured all the time. I get that.
Yeah.
And so that killed his momentum a little bit. But he was drawing. He was really drawing.
Yeah.
The crowd were behind him. It was selling tickets, especially in the Midwest and in the northern United States. And then you got to handle a guy like CM Punk. You can't just let him run roughshod, and that's what you did. You paid the consequences.
Yeah.
Somebody broke his dog's leg or some nonsense, and then his buddy bit someone, and it's just all ridiculous. Things that come out of your mouth when talking about this, it's like, I can't believe I just said that that's what happened because it's stupid, and it's the kind of thing you'd read in like a kindergarten report or something.
Yeah.
Like, Johnny called blah 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 a name, and so Johnny
did this, Johnny did that. Johnny's a naughty boy. Johnny's a naughty, naughty boy. Johnny's a naughty, naughty boy.
And then Ace bit him on the arm and wouldn't let go.
Yeah.
Yeah. Stupid. All happened for some reason. And it's worthy of an award for the stupidity of it, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Okay. We're on the final stretch where, as you know, and I don't like this phrase, but as Seamus says, it's banger after banger after banger now.
Banger after banger after banger after banger.
Next category, and this is split into wrestlers and superstars. We make the distinction. Male wrestler of the year. You won the coin toss. Who's your pick?
MJF.
Even though he only wrestled like 5 times in 2022, was it? Something like that?
Yeah, but I think they were bangers.
Stop saying bangers. Yes, they were indeed very good matches.
They were brilliant matches.
They were, yeah. I mean, the CM Punk MJF match was definitely a candidate for match of the year. I expect the return match that we never got, because of reasons previously mentioned, would have been a good one as well. Yeah, okay. I'm with you.
Yeah.
I'm going to go a little more technical, though. I'm going to go purely into wrestling. And this guy's been forgotten about recently because a lot of this stuff happened in the early part of the year, in the midpoint. Bryan Danielson is my wrestler of the year. He's had so many match of the year candidates this year. You know, you go back to the beginning of the year and with the formation of the Combat Club and the stuff he did with Wheeler Yuta, that was great. There was the whole thing with Daniel Garcia and the matches that they had. He's had great matches for championships with Hangman Adam Page and with Jon Moxley, and even that bit in the middle of the year with Jon Moxley before they formed their stupidly named club. That was cool as well. So yeah, Bryan Danielson is undoubtedly my wrestler of the year.
Oh, I can't argue that. So that was a good one, yeah.
On to the females. Female wrestler of the year. Once again, over to you for the first choice.
So I've gone for, even though she was injured for a while, is Becky Lynch. Because again, she, even though she was injured, she still fought through that injury on the match. You know, and I still think she's had some great matches. She has, yes, and obviously it's Becky Lynch. She's going to have great matches unless something goes terribly wrong. And her whole comeback after returning from having a child, it's been great. And she's picked up where she left off better. So I think she's in better shape now than she was before she had a child. So massive kudos for the work that she's done there. And mine's very similar, in a similar ilk. My female wrestler of the year is Bayley. Yeah. Has only really been back for like 4 or 5 months. But is having great matches, is elevating
a lot of the younger female superstars, like especially Bianca Belair, done a lot with her in the last couple of months to make her championship reign relevant, where the first one wasn't. And yeah, the Mount Rushmore of women's wrestling currently is two of the names that we've just mentioned. So yeah, nice and easy. That one, I think, pretty easy choices. We move on to superstars then. It's a bit more subjective because you've got to include the charisma, the star power, the drawing power, not just what they can do in the ring. They could have terrible matches, but if they're selling merch and they're making money, then they're going to be considered for this category. Male superstar of the year. Who have you got?
Well, I've got to do it again. I've got to throw out that one. And I've got to acknowledge the tribal chief, the head of the table, all the other names he has, Roman Reigns.
Yeah, I mean, we can't argue that he sells merch because literally the only wrestling t-shirt I've bought in the last 5 years is a Bloodline t-shirt, and you're currently wearing a Bloodline t-shirt, so that's some merch that he's sold. Well done there. Yeah, can't argue with you. One of the biggest superstars of all time now. Yeah. And it's weird to say that after previous opinion of him years and years ago, but yeah, good for him. Mine is slightly more nuanced, and I maybe I need to justify it, maybe I don't. You tell me. My male superstar of the year is Seth freaking Rollins.
No, I can go with that.
And he's lost a lot this year. Like, I don't think he's won more than like 4 or 5 matches in the entire year. Certainly not the big marquee singles matches. But you think about what he's done for WWE, for that Raw brand, and for the people that he has faced. He's elevated everyone. He has kept up his own momentum in terms of the crowd, because he basically turned himself babyface. Like they didn't want to turn him. It's just that the crowd started cheering him so much, like, right, well, that's over. He's no longer a heel. And he hasn't changed his character or personality. No. It's just they've dug that. But I don't think Cody Rhodes' return is as successful as it was without Seth Rollins as a foil. Like, who else could you put in that position to be having a mystery opponent of Cody Rhodes at WrestleMania and it still be as good? Very, very short list. And then to just repeat that over and over again. And the talk of like, oh yeah, well, when Cody comes back, he'll just step straight back into that program with Seth. Like, okay, yeah, sure, I'll watch that a 4th time. Why not? How often can you say that you're willing to watch the same people fight over and over again? It doesn't really happen.
Not very.
And obviously the symphony with his entrance music. I almost broke my voice doing that at Clash at the Castle. So he's over. He's a big part of WWE. And he's my male superstar of the year, Seth freaking Rollins. On to the females. Me first. And again, this is a bit of a controversial one because my female superstar of the year is no longer employed. Oh. My female superstar of the year is Mandy Rose.
I had her on my list as well.
I just don't think you can argue with the fact that she was NXT Women's Champion for the majority of the year. She elevated everyone around her. That women's division in NXT has been floundering for quite some time, but yet it was watchable and it continued to keep going because of Mandy Rose and her title reign. And then she got her tits out in a pool and was fired. So cool. That's the end of that.
I love how casually you said that.
That's what she was fired for.
Yeah. Did you know? A little bit of information for you here. She's not doing too badly because in the month of December, from her whatever page it was, she has earned $1 million.
Nice money if you can make it, eh?
So,
yeah,
I don't think she's too.
I'm not going to feel sorry for her. Like, she's not hurting in any way, is she? No, I'm not going to feel sorry for her. I'm going to feel sorry for us because I was really looking forward to that Toxic Attraction trio coming up to the main roster and seeing what they could do. Like, it's a huge loss for us. But, yeah, it hasn't made a blind bit of difference to her.
Although, you could just go and, do a bit of research on Mandy Rose on the internet.
Not for free, though, Dan, and I'm a cheapskate.
I know, that's the problem. Well, I'm sure if you looked hard enough.
Yeah, you sound like a man of experience there.
No comment.
Onwards, then. What is your female superstar of the year?
So my female superstar of the year, as I said, I did have Mandy Rose on my list. But I'm going with Bianca Belair. Because I think she's been having a hell of a year. She's Raw Women's Champion. I think she's just doing fantastic at the moment.
Yeah, I can't argue with you. And it's slightly disappointing to me that we haven't been able to name an AEW woman in this conversation.
I was trying to, when I was thinking of this list, I was thinking, come on, there must be someone in AEW. No, there isn't.
And I suppose you could expand that to, Impact and Ring of Honor and everything else that we've discussed this year. But I truly think that the AEW women's division has massively let itself down this year. Massive regression. And considering the names that they've added, it baffles me that they can still be so mediocre. They've added Paige Saraya this year. They've added Toni Storm. They've added Athena. They added, all of the other guys from NXT when they went, like Mercedes Martinez and people like that. And it's like, still you haven't got them main event ready. I don't get it. I don't get it. Like, even Toni Storm's championship reign was forgettable. It's Toni freaking Storm, man. How do you mess that up?
Yeah.
I just don't get it.
Yeah.
So, yeah. But Mandy Rose and Bianca Belair, definitely worthy winners.
Yeah.
And then we move on to our final category in our 2022 year-end award ceremony. It's the event of the year. What event for us has been the best one? It may not have been at the time when we were, as we've gone through and giving things star rating. I'm not sure that one of these has got the highest, but maybe it does. We'll have to go back and check. You're up first.
Yes.
With the very obvious choice for us Brits.
Yes. There was only one that could have won this for me.
There is only one.
There is only one. Even though I didn't manage to go, I was planning to go, but then I was ill, so I couldn't go. But I still watched it, and it was still amazing. I've heard all about it from you, because you went. It is, of course, Clash at the Castle.
Yes. Yeah. Hands down, it was probably the greatest thing to happen to the United Kingdom.
Yeah.
In many, many a year. It was a great event. So many fantastic matches. Match of the year that we've already discussed. Atmosphere great, wrestling great, spectacle great, overall great. Apart from that weird Sweet Caroline or whatever it was that Tyson Fury and Drew McIntyre did. But literally, you had a perfect show, and then you did that. And, all right.
Yeah.
Great.
But anyway,
yes. Wonderful, wonderful event. Worthy event of the year. And it made me have to really think about what my event of the year would be, because obviously that would have been my pick as well. But you know what? I cheated a little bit. I've combined two events into one. My event of the year is WrestleMania 38.
No, I can go with that one.
So many fantastic moments. It was kind of a sign that things were improving in the Vince McMahon era. And then from that point, they did not in any way, shape or form. But WrestleMania 38 itself was fantastic. Vince McMahon a big part of that with, his involvement in the the Pat McAfee match and all that kind of thing.
Yeah.
You had Cody's debut. You had great championship matches. It was just good for 80% of it. There was some weirdness, but yeah, it was a great event, big spectacle. Really the first proper WrestleMania back since the pandemic. I know they did that one in the middle of the Thunderdome era, but it was rained off for a long period, and there were bits that ruined it. So this one really was we're back at WrestleMania kind of moment. I'm hoping that they continue the 2-night event. I know that is an unpopular opinion in the wrestling community. Most of them want to go back to 1-night WrestleMania.
No, I think 2 nights is a much better thing.
Me too, yeah. Because I don't want to sit there for 8 hours in one night. I'd much rather spread it out over the course of 2 days.
Yeah.
Yeah, but no, they are wondering, they being the wrestling internet community, whether they will go back to 1 night under Triple H. Because Wrestle Kingdom has gone back to 1 night. That used to be a 2-night thing as well. But we shall see.
We shall see.
Either way, we'll watch it anyway, because that's what we do. We'll watch it, we'll talk about it, we'll dissect it, we'll insult parts of it, we'll celebrate other parts of it. That's what we do here on the Main Event Podcast.
Absolutely.
Just a last thing, going to put you on the spot a little bit. What has been your highlight, really? Like, all considered, your highlight of the wrestling year can be, directly related to the wrestling, or it can be, about this podcast. What's your highlight of 2022?
Highlight of 2022. I think the biggest highlight for me is when they announced Clash at the Castle. It was like, finally, we've been calling for this for years and years and years, and it's finally happening. Yes.
Yeah, fair enough. And mine is obviously being at Clash at the Castle.
Yeah. That would have been mine.
but specifically, just relentlessly, continuously singing Seth Rollins' theme throughout his match with Riddle, just not letting it go, and just continuing on and on and on. And being one of the only people like throwing up the ones for Roman Reigns during the main event, while everyone else was cheering for Drew McIntyre. Losers.
A loser.
Don't you know who he is? It's the tribal chief, goddammit.
Yeah.
But definitely a highlight year. I'm very happy with 2022 from a wrestling perspective. It's been good. Very positive vibes going into 2023. And we shall return for our first event of 2023 next week. It's New Japan Pro Wrestling Wrestle Kingdom.
Yeah.
First time that we're going to do New Japan Pro Wrestling directly on this show. I mean, we had Forbidden Door last year, obviously, but an actual New Japan Pro Wrestling event here on the Main Event Podcast. And as an extra bonus, we're also going to throw in the Shinsuke Nakamura Great Muta match from Noah on New Year's Day.
Yes.
There we go. Right. I'll close us out. Thank you very much to all that have joined us, wherever you have joined us here on the Main Event Podcast. It's been a wonderful 2022. Look forward to serving your wrestling needs in 2023. Until then, I've been Jez.
And I've been Dan.
We'll see you soon. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Bye. Bye.